Rachel might have played Snow White, but the only thing this movie's kissing is rock bottom. With just $3.5 million in Thursday previews and a dismal $43 million opening weekend, Disney's Woke, Snow White isn't just a flop, it's an expensive one. Compared to the Little Mermaid remake's $95 million debut, this disaster isn't even in the same ocean.
Disney dropped $250 million trying to reinvent Snow White, and still lost to a movie where the main character's biggest skill is punching dirt. Rachel Zegler came in swinging at the original story like it owed her money, and now she's watching Minecraft farm box office wins like it's diamond ore. This isn't just a flop anymore, this is a cultural meltdown with popcorn.
Now that people have seen this, now that people are reviewing this, and now that we're getting the box office numbers, it's impossible to spin this any other way than a monumental, catastrophic failure for Rachel Zegler and Disney. Box office, Snow White limps to alarming $42.2 million domestic opening and only $86 million globally. This was the news after the first weekend at the box.
Snow White is no mere box office flop. It is again a historic,
cataclysmic, catastrophic,
embarrassing failure for Disney and Hollywood. And you just hate to see it.
Almost certainly, this movie is going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars for Disney. There's almost no path to profitability at this point in time, both because it opened so low, because they spent so much money on it, and the word of mouth simply isn't there.
Now know what the opening box office weekend has been for Snow White, and it was
a disaster.
It was every bit as bad as we thought it would be.
And in some ways, worse.
I thought it would be, but it doesn't look good. And it couldn't have happened to like a worse person.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
You serious?
So it took me 3 weeks. 3 weeks! So it is now 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks since the Rachel Zegler box office bomb happened, and I am finally making a video about it. Now you would think me, out of almost everybody who's ever talked about Rachel Zegler, I would be the first one to the punch, the first one to do it. But nope, unfortunately it is me almost a month later having to make this video. I mean, considering how many times I've talked about Rachel Zegler,
and we can already tell just by looking at the set photos, just by looking at these trash interviews, all these stupid little press junkets you're doing, that it's going downhill and going downhill fast. And by the time this movie comes out, it's going to be all the way at the freaking bottom. So, great job. Great, fantastic job, Rachel Zegler. Because you are burning your own movie to the freaking ground. So, let's give her all a big applause.
Our personal favorite Disney brat, Woke Zegler, is once again back in the limelight and back in the news. So if you guys remember from last time, she had a ton of stuff to say about her upcoming Snow White movie. Well, this is the problem with modern day society. This right here, it's a joke. You can't take a joke because people just like you, Rachel, the woke, the left, you can't take a joke. This generation is incredibly soft. She doesn't care. She doesn't need some woke leftist who's pretty much never going to be able to work for Disney again. So Rachel Zegler's Snow White box office bombs like expected. And like I told you guys, 2 years ago? What did I say was going to happen? On my very first video, what did I say was going to happen? And it finally came true. It finally happened. And this is much, much deserved. I mean, this was a long time coming, and I am so glad it happened. Well, it finally happened, and here I am, finally getting around to making a video about it. Finally, we are here, so we are going to dive right in and jump full force, and we are going to be laughing in Rachel Zegler's face the entire frickin' time, because this is exactly what she deserves. So let's take a glance, just a little bit of a look at these wonderful box office numbers that she did. And just for a little clarification, we'll do a little Google AI and see what they have to say. Yes, Disney's live-action remake of Snow White is widely considered a box office bomb. While it grossed over $200 million worldwide, its high production cost and losses from other avenues like video on demand and home entertainment have resulted in a projection $115 million loss for Disney, according to a report from Deadline. That is exactly what we're talking about. That is the kind of numbers that we were looking for. And you can go down a whole list. Now, we all know all the different controversies that this movie had, and so it's no wonder why it did so terrible. The Snow White budget was $240 to $270 million US dollars, and the box office came back with a staggering, just absolutely staggering $200 million. They couldn't even meet the budget of the movie. And I think we all have a pretty good indication why that is.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
President.
While also saying that this is one of Disney's most expensive films. And it's pretty great that happened to be one of Disney's most expensive films. Also, their lead actress created all of this controversy and said the most about it, and was probably one of the worst actresses, one of the worst PR stunts ever. I couldn't think of a worse person to have as an actress, and she was the one going around talking all this crap about Snow White, and this is one of their most expensive movies ever. So just think about that. This terrible person, this actress who had all of these terrible things to say about the movie, on top of this being one of the most expensive movies ever, this has to be one of the worst or greatest coincidences ever for this to happen. Disney execs were probably punching air as soon as they saw this come out. Now, they probably thought this was going to be bad, but I don't think they had any idea how bad this would actually be. I mean, that is insane. And we all predicted it from the start. We all said, you continue to go down this line, you continue to talk all this crap about this movie that you're making, this is what's going to happen. And you're going to get terrible box office numbers, and it's exactly what happened. And we freaking won. Exactly what happened we said was going to happen, happened. And we freaking won. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of a perspective, let's take a look at what the original Snow White did. Okay, so the original Snow White movie, the 1937 film, you guys are going to have to get ready for this. This was in 1937. You guys can do the math on how many years ago that was. So take a look at this. Their budget on that movie was only $1.5 million. Remember, this is an animated movie from 1937. $1.5 million for the budget, and the box office did $418 million. The box office from the 1937 movie, the original, did over double what the new movie in 2025 did. Absolutely insane. Did double of what this movie did. So if that doesn't speak to all of the crap that in what she's saying about this movie being a more modern movie, and it's for
Modern audiences.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937.
This just goes to show this is the complete wrong direction to go down. You went in the worst way possible. So you tried to modernize it a bit and make it less 1937. And look what you did. You got half the box office as a result. Now you could argue and say, oh, well, it's from all the other different controversies with the movie. Well, I don't know. You tell me. How about the main person who's playing the lead role has a bunch of negative things to say about the original source material that this is based off of? You can't imagine this doing good. I mean, you're talking crap about the source material and to think that you're going to be able to do it better and you're going to modernize it, and actually, it didn't do better. It did freaking worse. Not only worse, it did a lot worse. And it failed, and it miserably failed. It crashed, it burned, it failed. It went straight down the freaking tube. And you have absolutely nothing to show for you trying to make it more modern and trying to make it better. You have absolutely nothing to show for it. You made it worse. And guess what, Rachel? Even if Disney continues to go down this path of trying to make live action remakes of these original films that they're race swapping people and doing all this other kinds of stuff, if they're going to continue to do this, Rachel, you sure as heck ain't going to be getting another job from Disney. I can tell you that much. You will never, ever see anyone from Disney ever again because you were the worst person for their marketing of all time. You are the direct reason that this movie failed. The direct reason this movie failed. So if I were Disney, I wouldn't even ever look in your direction ever again. And you were the lead role. You were the lead role. And look what you did to your movie. You absolutely destroyed your movie. And this is what you have to say about it?
There is a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
Just sad. Absolutely so sad. And it is so great that this story has finally culminated into you being an abject frickin' failure. And it is so great. And we love to see it. As soon as those box offers came in, we all laughed. And we continued to laugh and laugh and laugh. And we laughed in your frickin' face. Because you are a complete and utter failure. And you should take a deep, hard look in the mirror and see that this is not the way to go. Because as the famous saying goes, go woke, go broke. And that is exactly where Disney is headed. And you don't even want to get me started on the Disney stock. So, Rachel, we all, on behalf of everybody that was expecting your film to crash and burn, on behalf of everyone, I thank you so much for giving us something to laugh about, giving us something to absolutely find joy in, is seeing your failure. And I'm so glad because I made a video a year or two ago, and I absolutely called it, and I am so glad that I can smile and rejoice in your failure because I was right, and it absolutely failed, and it was the most marvelous thing ever. And I'm filled with joy, and we are going to continue to laugh in your face. And I really hope that we never have to see you again. And if we do, you have learned from this absolute failure and that you can do better. And you know, I don't think anybody tweets more about you than I do. But guess what? I'm done, because we may never have to hear about you ever again. We may never have to hear about you ever again. So thank you so, so much. And this has been an absolute joy to watch. But you know what wasn't a joy to watch? Your movie, because it sucked. I didn't even have to see it. I'm glad I didn't even have to see it, but I heard it absolutely sucked. Not to mention all the other crap on it. But guess what? People that went and watched your movie, the actual small amount of people that actually went to watch your movie, they didn't even like it. The reviews were terrible.
They were terrible.
And people still line up to see her.
So on top of all this crap that you talked about the movie, the actual product, the end product of what it was crap. It was such absolute crap. That is just the perfect part of it. And it is so funny to watch. So maybe you can actually take a lesson from this. And I know for sure that Disney is definitely going to take a hard look in the mirror. And maybe, Rachel, you should too. But I am so glad to say that we won. This is one more step in the right direction. And I am so glad we frickin' won. And we won big. This is going to be a year of wins, and I can't wait until the next one of you, Rachel, comes along, that we can watch this happen again and again and again until things actually start changing. So that is what I'm going to be there for, and I can't wait for it. And with all of this being said, I am so glad, and you know what? I'm sorry it took me 3 weeks, but you know, I will continue to bask in this glory of this movie, failing miserably. And you know, I don't know when the next time is going to be. As you guys know, I don't know when I upload. It's just going to be random. It's just going to be popping out of the middle of nowhere. But until next time, I will see you guys. And this has been a great thing to watch. And I am so, so glad it happened. And it took me way too long to get to it, but I got to it and I got to watch this and I got to see the end result of this. And it was just a complete euphoria.
And it was just such a great feeling to see those terrible, terrible box office numbers. I mean, just
absolute terrible box office numbers. And it was awesome to see. So, with all this being said here today, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and across the world, it has been me, LYKAON, and I will see all of you guys in the next time I upload, which I have no idea when that's going to be, but it'll be at some point. And until next time, guys, I will see you. I'm out of here. You know, I was like, yes! I was like, yes! Oh, I'm sorry, Rachel. Did you expect this movie to succeed? Oh, I'm sorry, Rachel. Did you really think this movie was gonna do well? Oh, I'm sorry, Rachel. Did you actually think this movie was gonna do numbers? So sorry, Rachel. Better luck next time. Sorry, Rachel. Oh, and just if you guys want a little bit, here's a little bit of an extra just for you, just so you can get a good laugh on your way out.
You have to pretend like, oh, God, well, crazy that we're in front of this.
Wait, how often are you in line for the Snow White ride?
I'm a narcissist.